our viewers and subscribers. So today we're going to actually divert or sell our attention, and we're going to be talking about a topic, an issue, a topical topic that I've seen so many people get wrong. It's like almost everybody get this wrong, and that is whether paying the property taxes on a piece of land, a land you inherited, a land you own, that is the land you have title to, whether common law or otherwise, means that you are the person who own that land. So let's get going. Now, in keeping with the Property Tax Act of Jamaica, the Property Tax Act of Jamaica says that the property tax must be paid by the person in possession. Get that right there. The person in possession. The Property Tax Act also classifies property tax as quit rent. There is a separate act that is called the Quit Rent Act, that speaks to the interest acquired by anyone by paying the quit rent. In the Quit Rent Act, in section 30, in the final paragraph, the act says, no person shall acquire an interest by reason only of paying the quit rent. And it's specified equitable interest or title. It specifies all of those. So I tell you, if you pay the quit rent, that alone is no reason for you to say you have title to the land. Now, what has the court said in almost every single ruling for a judge that relates to property? The courts have held firm, though you are paying the taxes on the land, which is a quit rent, that does not give you interest in the land, though it is able to help to show that, or to establish that you were in possession. It is not enough to say you're in possession. So we now divert to the law of property. Now, many people in Jamaica and in the diaspora believes that if they have a piece of title, I call it a piece of title, because that is really what it is. Because there's a big title for Jamaica owned by the crown, and you have a subtitle to it, which is a piece, yes, part of some parish or some community within the parish. Now, many of you believe that if you have title to the land, that is a written title or common law title, that the land is yours and nobody else can get it from you. Well, guess what? I have news for you. Nothing no go so. The law of the land is possession dominant. In fact, the laws of Jamaica that governs property comes as far back as the UK, and which is this that I'm about to quote is a law in Jamaica today. It's called the Law of Property Act, which speaks to the type of interest that can be acquired in property, interest in fee simple or otherwise. And it says the only interest that is capable of subsisting over land is an interest in fee simple. You wonder what that means? It means, as it says, any person with a fee simple is capable of owning that property. I call it holding it. You can transfer it. You can have somebody inherit it. That's what a fee simple really is. You can develop it, you can do whatever it is. So then, we also have other laws that governs property, and that is the Registration of Title Act. We have the doctrine of relativity of title, which we'll speak to that shortly. And we also have the doctrine of adverse possession. We also have the Limitation of Action Act, with a critical one. And we're going to begin by speaking to the Registration of Title Act, and then get down to tie that to the Limitation of Action Act. Now, if you have a title to a piece of property in Jamaica, in keeping with the Registration of Title Act, that title is subject to the statute of limitation, which the statute of limitation says that you can be dispossessed from that property, or you can relinquish possession to your property. If you do either of those two things, which by doing by being dispossessed, it means that somebody else come into possession of the property. What do we mean by possession? The law defines possession with two elements to it. When someone dispossesses you, they have gone in what is called factual possession, which we'll speak about in another video, and they have actually a mental element to it, which is an intention to possess that property. Unless that person has those two elements, the law says they are not in what you want to call adverse possession and they did not dispossess you. Or you can get up and walk away from your land, do nothing to show control over your land, which is factual possession. And in that case, if someone take possession from you, in keeping with the Registration of Title Act and the Limitation of Action Act, again remember, the Registration of Titles Act is subject to the statute of limitation, and that is, your title is subject to the statute of limitation, otherwise called the Limitations of Actions Act in Jamaica. So, if you were to abandon your possession, or you were to be dispossessed, and you do that for at least 12 years, what the law of this land has been, which has been settled, which means there's no going around it, that's how it go, states is that if you relinquish possession, which means you abandon the land, you didn't do anything to show control over it, forget about just paying the taxes. Though, if the land is an empty lot, the law says that that is enough to prove possession. When we say empty lot, it means nothing upon there. So it's really hard for somebody else to show them possessing that over you, so all you need to do is pay the taxes. But if the land is a developed land that has a house or something on it, and you left the land and you did nothing, and somebody move on to it for a day, and you try to do like the Limitation of Action Act says, recover possession, in that suit, in keeping with the case of Fullwood versus Croucher, the Court of Appeal has settled the matter that if you, the title owner, is unable to show and prove to the court that you were in possession at least for the last 12 years, you will not be able to recover possession, and your title will be extinguished and is nothing but a piece of toilet paper. Yes. And the same thing applies. If someone dispossessed you, which means you didn't walk out of possession, then if you allow that to continue without taking action, and remember, the Limitation of Action says that by making an entry on the land, saying you come there now and then, is not enough to show possession. Your possession must be physical. You must show control. Though the law says if you're acquiring income from the land, you don't need to be physically there. But if you are renting it out, leasing it out, etc., then that is also possession, in keeping with the Law of Property Act as enacted in the UK from 1925. So, viewers and subscribers, we have a lot to speak about in property law, but this is the tip of it as we go through the series in property law, environmental laws, so that you will be better informed of the laws of this land, Jamaica. Peace.